Welcome, everybody, to Hartford, Connecticut. A sellout crowd has made their way into the Civic Center this afternoon. The Georgetown Hoyas putting their #2 national ranking on the line against the upset kings right now in the Big East, the Connecticut Huskies. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Gorman, along with Dave Gavitt. Welcome to our Saturday afternoon game of the week. David, all year long, we've talked about Georgetown, about Patrick Ewing. Let's for once talk about a couple of different players who make up this team. First, David Wingate.
Well, David Wingate has had a sensational year, I think, Mike. He's a knifing, slicing kind of forward at 6'5". He can really play front and back. I think most significantly, David Wingate defensively has come on like gangbusters in the last couple of weeks.
And the other man who flanks Patrick Ewing, Billy Martin.
Billy Martin is Mr. Consistency. I think he's captured the attention of the NBA folks around the country. I think he's going to be a very surprising draft pick. He's an outstanding power forward, great baseline jump shooter, and a heck of a kid.
All right, we now talk about the Connecticut Huskies. Again, great upset win this week over Syracuse. They have two senior forwards who are being honored right now just behind us. Let's talk first about Ray Broxton.
Ray Broxton, I think, has been a mirror of Raphael Addison this year. He hasn't gotten the attention because the Huskies aren't ranked nationally, but Ray Broxton has really been a terrific player all year long. He's an excellent, quick, set-up jump shooter and a good, steady player.
And the other man is an explosive sort, Alvin Frederick.
Alvin Frederick fought off a few injuries at the beginning of the year, Mike. Got off to a bit of a slow start. In the last 11 games, he has really come on strong and played a big role the other night in the win against Syracuse.
Okay, coming up, the Huskies of Connecticut and the Georgetown Hoyas. An upset, maybe this afternoon. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hartford, everyone. There's the matchup for this afternoon. Let's meet the starting lineups. Our public address announcer, Roger Baker.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hartford Civic Center for Big East basketball. Today, the Huskies host the Hoyas of Georgetown. Here are the starters for Georgetown. At a forward from Baltimore, Maryland, number 34, 6'7" sophomore Reggie Williams. At a forward from Washington, D.C., number 24, 6'7" senior Bill Martin. At center from Cambridge, Massachusetts, number 33, 7-foot senior Patrick Ewing. At the guards, from Baltimore, Maryland, number 40, 6'5" junior David Wingate. And from Ruston, Virginia, number 30, 6'2" junior Michael Jackson. Now let's meet and greet your University of Connecticut Huskies. At a forward from Daytona Beach, Florida, number 4, 6'7" senior Ray Broxton. At a forward from Stamford, Connecticut, number 21, 6'5" senior Al Frederick. At center from Baltimore, Maryland, number 34, 6'7" junior Tim Coles. In the Husky backcourt, from Washington, D.C., number 3, 6'2" freshman Terry Coffey. And from New Haven, Connecticut, number 10, 6'1" junior Earl Kelly.
And we'll be back with the opening tip-off of today's game right after this. Welcome back to Hartford, everybody, and we are just about set to go. The Georgetown Hoyas and Connecticut Huskies, officials for this afternoon's game. There they are, Ed Badagowski. He is the fellow on your right, Gene Monge in the middle, and Terry Stout on the left. Both teams limbering up as we look at some of the cheerleaders and a big crowd here in Hartford today. The Huskies and Hoyas now making their way to half court. There are the matchups again. Billy Williams, Ray Broxton on either side. Martin and Frederick, Ewing and Coles, Wingate and Coffey, Jackson and Kelly. I called Reggie Williams, Billy Williams. I might have there. We're underway. Billy Martin controlling the tap. Wingate, the early miss, and it's ripped off by Frederick, who in his final game here in Hartford looks like he has come to play.
Well, this place is fired up, too, Mike. You can feel the electricity in this building. I think coming off the upset win on Wednesday over Syracuse, big story in the New Haven paper today. John Toner, the athletic director here, a very strong endorsement of Coach Don Perno. And this place, you can feel it.
Earl Kelly double teamed, but gets it away to Coffey. Coffey, the freshman, has been starting of late for the Connecticut Huskies, who seem to play very well against the good teams in the Big East. Again, they beat Syracuse twice this year. Broxton has it slapped away by Martin. Up quickly, Reggie Williams on the wing.
Connecticut opening 1-2-2 zone. Expect to see them in some form of zone all day. They do an excellent job of changing and mixing their zone defenses.
Michael Jackson fought hard on the boards, loose underneath. Out of the pack is going to come Kelly. Ewing is back. Kelly takes it in, slapped away by Jackson. Up ahead, Wingate on the break, and the pass is too far. So we've had 4 trips, no blood.
Both teams will run. Obviously, you know, Georgetown is looking to play transition, but Connecticut with Kelly will look to run when the opportunity presents itself.
Here come the Huskies again. Coffey leading the break this time. The pull-up. Ewing almost tapped it in, then pulls it down. Jackson on the wing. Billy Martin. Coles.
Martin couldn't get the bank shot to go down. Jackson made an excellent pass. Drew the defense to the right and fed off. Coming up onto the 2-minute mark and still looking for the first score.
Coles gets a step around Ewing, has it slapped away by Martin, but gets it back. Now Earl Kelly will try to set him up in the half-court offense.
See what they're doing here is trying to draw Ewing outside.
And they get a foul on Patrick Ewing as Coles took it down the lane. First on Patrick, first on the team. 17:58 to play here first half, and nobody's on the board yet.
See it here. They're trying to draw Ewing outside with Timmy Coles and get Kelly off screens and low. That time Coles started taking it to the hole, and Pat moved in on him.
Called a foul quickly there with the body, so it was not ruled a shooting foul, and Connecticut inbounds. Broxton in the corner. Good up fake. Little runner. Reggie Williams gets it off to Martin, and a foul will be on Alvin Frederick as he and Martin tangle legs in the backcourt.
2-1 trips.
Mike, the first 2 times these 2 teams met in the Capitol Center in Landover, Connecticut had this game locked up with about 12 to go. They were flat out even tied, and then Georgetown with the pressure defense pulled away. We talked about the arena being alive. That only helps if you can get ahead. When you're playing the number 2 ranked team in the country, that's not easy to do with Pat Ewing anchoring a great team defense.
Billy Martin had a thought in the corner. Connecticut bench was looking for a travel, and we've got a whistle and foul on Earl Kelly on the jumper. Don Perno up at both officials.
Thompson and Colonel both working the referees a little early in this game on the non-calls more than the calls. See it here. Gets him on the arm for 2. Some confusion, you know, with fans. You can get a guy on the hand because the hand's considered part of the ball, but if you're down below that wrist, you're liable.
Well, with 2 minutes and 35 seconds gone, we still do not have a point in the board. And Billy Martin finally gets one up there. The Hoyas lead by 1, and they immediately apply pressure.
Georgetown will vary their pressure. This time it's man.
Well, Kelly will do well in that man pressure, and we've got a foul. Michael Jackson bumping Kelly along the baseline. Here's a look at Michael Jackson, the point guard, I guess you would say, of the Georgetown offense. He pretty much runs the show. He and Horace Broadnax, who has been getting more and more minutes of late. Coles is open and hits.
Well, that's a big basket for Connecticut. Gets them on the board, and Timmy Coles had to lay that one up a little higher than normal. Ewing coming at him. Two-three zone now out of Connecticut. They'll shift it into 3-2. Looking into Ewing.
Reggie Williams had a thought from the corner. Now Jackson's pull-up. Got it.
A lot of weapons on the perimeter of that defense, and what makes Georgetown even more effective against zone is Ewing's ability to pass the ball. You've seen it twice already, where Ewing will catch the ball in the low post. He'll draw a crowd to him and just pop it right back out to the perimeter. Here comes the man press again.
Brock's in a little trouble. Now he finds Kelly. Earl just kind of stutter steps his way, but an offensive foul is called on Kelly, and that's 2 quick ones on Earl.
I don't know why Earl was so persistent of trying to get up that left side that time. They had the floor cleared out. He had the whole middle of the court. He had a possible jump switch coming up at him. All he had to do was spin dribble and come back the other way now, and instead he persists with no room and trying to go down that left side, and it cost him.
Terry Warren, the freshman, is immediately up off the Connecticut bench. Reggie Williams, a leaner, got it.
Again, an assist to Ewing. He drew 3 people to him, got it to Williams. Williams got the defense coming at him, penetrated.
Hoyas now with a 5-2 lead, and Ewing the near steal at half court. And Coffey will go to the bench. Warren comes in, which means Warren will more or less be the point guard now, and Kelly will move to the off-guard slot with those 2 fouls.
Curnow doing that, obviously, to protect, not have Kelly at risk coming up the floor, handling the ball.
Here's Warren, the other freshman. 2 freshmen playing extensively in the backcourt. Gets it up to Kelly. Earl waves Warren back out, and now the Huskies go into their half-court offense. They trail 5-2 here, and Jackson has picked up number 2.
The difference is coming off the bench right now, though. When Georgetown gets in foul trouble, here comes Horace Broadnax, an outstanding defensive player, solid all year long.
We've got a timeout with the score. Georgetown 5 and Connecticut 2. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to Hartford, everybody, and don't forget that at the end of the game we will select a player game. This award rather, is sponsored by our good friends at Gillette. We'd like to thank them for their support of Big East basketball, and we'll have that coming up right at the end of the game. Let's compare these 2 clubs graphically here, and you'll get an idea of what the University of Connecticut Huskies and Georgetown Hoyas are about. The Hoyas better than 50% shooting. You see that Achilles heel, some would say, at the free throw line for Georgetown, just 62%. Rebounding advantage to the Hoyas. Points per game actually pretty even if they play up to what they have done so far this year. We got a good one on our hands. It's 5-2 with 15:51 to play. Jackson is on the Georgetown bench with 2 early fouls. Horace Broadnax has come in. Earl Kelly is still in the ball game. He has 2 fouls as we look at John Thompson, and we're back underway here.
Georgetown has gone to a 1-3-1 pressure half-court trap defense now. Ewing guarding the goal in the back.
Near steal by Wingate. Kelly, little opening. Ewing the rebound. Up to Broadnax. Pushes it up the right side. Martin baseline.
That's Bill's spot. And they do an excellent job in their transition game of getting it down and finding him on that baseline. Defensively, you've got to get to him and locate him right away.
Warren, a nice move to spin away from Broadnax in the backcourt. From the corner, Frederick in and out. Williams this time clears. Georgetown again looks to run. Wingate. Got it. David Wingate is for his hoop, and suddenly it's 9-2 Hoyas.
Wingate and Williams have both been riding the hot hand. A week ago today, 18 for 19. The 2 Dunbar products shot it against Providence.
Warren, coast to coast, comes up short. Another rebound for Reggie Williams. Another break here for Georgetown. Broadnax in and out, and Kelly comes out with a rebound.
Warren shot's the first bad one that Connecticut's taken, Mike. It was just a little too quick. Don Perno trying to get something set now. The problem you have against Georgetown with an inexperienced freshman guard is they won't let you set. They'll change their defense constantly. They're jump switching at you.
Kelly couldn't hit the open jumper. Frederick, the follow rolls in. Rodnax calls the play from outside. Really collapsing on Ewing, and that's going to be a foul on Timmy Coles as he got him with the body. Jerry Besselink will check into the ball game, and Coles will go to the bench. First personal, as you see on Tim.
An interesting dilemma if you're Connecticut and trying to defend Georgetown in zone. That's Connecticut's basic defense. They do an excellent job with it. They did a great job against Syracuse the other night, changing up, constantly keeping the orange off stride. But do you collapse around Ewing and leave the perimeter open for people like Martin on the baseline, Wingate, Williams on the wings, and Jackson on the point? Or do you crowd Ewing? You know, you can't do both.
Alvin Frederick the steal, and he's ahead of the pack for two.
That gets the fans into the game. Mike, you and I have talked about it, but there is tremendous enthusiasm for basketball, for UConn basketball in the state of Connecticut. And you can see it coming off that win the other night. If this team ever gets it going today, this place will explode.
It's like they had won the NCAAs in here after that ball game the other night. The Hoyas, as you see, tough on the road. Hoyas are tough anywhere.
Oh, they're tough on the road, and everywhere they go, they pack them in. They've sold out every Big East game on the road. And the fans all come. You know, when you're number one, everybody wants to knock you off. So they face pressure. Faced it all year long.
Martin spins through, it won't go, and Besselink clears. Kevin Floyd has been in the Georgetown lineup these last two trips up and down the floor. John Thompson up off the Georgetown bench calling out the defense. Ewing out there top of the key. Pass went right through his arms. Dangerous pass. Loose ball underneath. Broxton's got it. Frederick lost the handle. Travel. And no, it'll be Georgetown ball. Travel. Here's Don Perno on the Connecticut sideline.
People talk about the coaches getting up at officials. There's a guy behind that UConn bench. I think they better get the paramedics ready for him. See him? The third row back there. He's up on every call. I'm worried about that fella. Got a nice-looking young man sitting next to him. Is his son?
Ralph Dalton and Michael Jackson have both checked into the game for Georgetown. Ewing is on the bench now. Kelly comes off with another rebound. It's 9-6 Hoyas, and the Huskies can get to within one.
Again, the bench, such a key factor. John Thompson develops his bench. He plays them early in the year. He's got one of the great backup centers in the game in Ralph Dalton. Not a stats player, just a coach's player. Comes in, gives Ewing valuable rest, can play with Ewing. Does an excellent job defensively in the middle. You see him here on Besselink. Look at the aggressiveness.
Kelly was looking to penetrate. The lane was shut off. Broxton down low, Besselink, and he hit the side with the hook shot and hustles down the rebound, but Jackson gets it.
3 on 3.
Wingate on the wing. And again, the Connecticut bench thought they had a travel. Technical foul is whistled on Don Perno.
Mike, about 30 seconds ago, I talked about the fans behind the Connecticut bench, and I've got to tell you something. Those fans got the technical as much as Perno did. I mean, they were so out of control running down the aisle that they got the referee's attention over there, and there was Dom up, and bango, got hit with it.
We've got a timeout, 11:19 left to play, 11-6, Hoyas by 5. We'll be back after this. I'd like to remind you that the broadcast cablecast rights to this game are granted by the Big East Conference to Metro Sports with exclusive production contract with TCS Productions. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without prior written consent is prohibited. The announcers on this telecast have been hired and paid for by TCS Metro Sports in consultation with the Big East Conference. David Wingate shooting that technical foul. You see Don Perno talking not with one of the officials, with one of his players, and Wingate misses them both. Poetic justice, at least in the minds of the Connecticut partial here. Georgetown just 1 of 4 at the free throw line so far today.
Connecticut's woes have been caused by bad shooting. They're shooting 3 for 12. They're rebounding the ball well. They've taken a couple of 4 shots. I think Ewing's caused that. Causes you to hurry a little bit. But early on, they had pretty good ones.
Broadnax can't hit outside. Kelly picks it off the floor. Both Ewing and Dalton are in the game at the same time now, something John Thompson will do often. Reggie Williams, Broadnax, and Jackson fill out the 5 for the Hoyas. That's Earl Kelly. Warren is still in the ball game. Broxton, Frederick, and Besselink, who has the ball top of the key.
Connecticut will try to go to Kelly and Broxton. Besselink has got to watch himself. He's starting to get really physical with Ewing inside. He's going to get called. Shot clock under 10 now.
They get it out to Kelly. Earl dumps it off. Nobody there. Besselink better get it up. Nope. Doesn't do it in the 45 seconds.
I think Connecticut, deliberately coming off the technical foul, wanted to establish some tempo that time, take some time off the clock, make Georgetown play defense. The problem is Georgetown will defend you all the way for 45. They're not going to let up in those last 10.
Jackson finds Broadnax on the wing. Besselink clears.
UConn continuing to do an outstanding job on their defensive board. They just can't convert at the other end.
And a blocking foul is going against Michael Jackson, and that is the 3rd on Jackson. And John Thompson looks at Michael Jackson, nodded his head. Yes, you committed the foul.
Well, that was going to be a critical call on somebody, because it was Kelly and Jackson involved, and they're both riding too. There's Kelly angling off to the right, and Jackson still moving. Actually, I think he might have tripped over Dalton's leg. Now that I look at it again.
Let's look at Jackson on the bench. Connecticut to inbound. Wingate and Martin both came back in that last time out. Dalton and Jackson go out. Steal by Wingate on the baseline.
Good idea by Besselink, but Dalton just made a great slide down the weak side.
Reggie Williams open. He can't hit. Patrick an offensive board. The jump hook won't go. Martin battles for the rebound, and Besselink, I believe, is going to pick up the foul. Or is it Warren?
Might be Warren. Yeah, you see it there. Warren. They're reaching.
That's the first on Terry Warren. We've got a 9:29 to go in a low-scoring ball game. 11-6. Make it no. Won't go for Ewing. Frederick in some heavy traffic finds Broxton. Besselink over the back is going to be whistled with the foul as he went over the top of Patrick Ewing. 6 fouls now on the Connecticut Huskies. They will be at the line next time.
Well, you'll see it here over the back. It's a hard call to boo, really.
I think any call is going to be booed in here today that goes against the fellows in white. Wingate can't hit. Loose ball comes back out to Reggie Williams as Besselink couldn't get the handle.
I'm impressed with the way Connecticut is really doing the job on that defensive board. Well, that one got away from Gary Besselink.
Neither team able to shoot, but that basket's going to count from Reggie Williams.
Well, that won't be a popular call here either.
Two on Besselink, who is in for Coles. Take a look.
Still moving. Yep, upper body right up into him. Good call.
He didn't think he was moving.
Well, he's a hard worker. Really hard-working kid. He went in there and did a good job on the defensive board.
Hoyas tracked this one down off the offensive board, though they still continue to struggle from the line.
The game has had no rhythm to it, really, Mike, because Connecticut's had such difficulty scoring at their end. Credit Georgetown's defense, and here at the other end, Georgetown's had a lot of shots and just won't go, and UConn's been very aggressive on the defensive glass.
Coles, little up fake. And we've got a foul, and it's going the other way. Timmy Coles picks it up. So if there was indeed any rhythm that was going to be established, it's not established yet. Coles, his second personal foul. Take a look.
Connecticut's had 7 turnovers now. Here's one caused by Ewing. He comes up on Coles, and Coles, in an effort to get away from him, runs right into the guy off the ball.
Connecticut shooting just 23%, and Georgetown just 33%. Reggie Williams hits. He has been most of the offense. 6 of the 15 points for the Hoyas, and their lead is 9, biggest of the afternoon. And Williams picks up a foul on the backcourt. You can tell from the reaction which way that call went.
5th team on Georgetown. UConn over the limit. 7:50 to go in the half.
And we've got a timeout with the score. Georgetown 15 and Connecticut 6. We'll be back right after this. And don't forget to join us, everybody, for our next telecast of Big East basketball. That'll be coming up next Saturday at noontime when the Providence College Friars, Joe Mulaney's final regular season game, they will meet the #1 team in the country, the St. John's Redmen, right here on the TCS Metro Sports Network. We've got 7:50 to play here. First half, 15-6. Hoyas by 9. Nobody's shooting too well.
Georgetown leads the country traditionally in defense against field goal percentage, usually somewhere under 40, but they've gotten Connecticut a little bit off their feet offensively here as you see them go to that 1-3-1 point zone with Ewing out pointing on the ball. You got to be patient against Georgetown, but you need to get penetration too, and it's a hard thing to do.
Kelly takes the runner. Martin, a big rebound.
I think Ewing touched that one.
Williams, and that's a blocking foul on Earl Kelly. And that is number 3 on Earl. Not sure if that was the smartest play for Earl to make in that situation.
Well, again, it's a play that's caused by frustration, and you see it here. He's still moving. It's not a direct. You know, if you got 2 fouls on you, you just don't try to pick up the offensive foul like that. I think that's the message. You don't want to put your destiny into the hands of that whistle on that play. Frustration, really, I think, for Connecticut right now, caused by the fact that they're playing against one of the toughest defensive teams in the country.
Reggie Williams brings the free throw percentage up to 33 for Georgetown in this game, as they are now 2 out of 6 from the line. And he nets them both. 17-6 with Connecticut's leading scorer on the bench. Not a good position for the Huskies here with 7:19 to play first half. Broxton gets it over the line to Frederick.
Nice move by Broxton on a setup, and an excellent penetrating move by Alvin Frederick on the baseline.
He has 6 of the 8 Connecticut points. Rodnack's bringing it back out. Loop it into Patrick, lost the handle momentarily and traveled with the basketball.
Well, good defense by Connecticut there.
Boy, they did collapse on him as soon as that ball headed in.
Excellent reaction to the penetration of the ball.
With John Thompson, as you see, in an era that 20-win seasons are very difficult to come by, he has had 8 of them in a row.
He's going to have 2 30s in a row if you're not careful.
Rodnack's and Coffey gets it back. Coles is open and hit.
Hustle play by Coffey. Gets Connecticut back in this thing a little bit.
17-10 as Horace Rodnack heads back to talk to John Thompson and gets over that 10-second line in time.
2 to spare. Connecticut zone now 2-3. They'll go 2-3 zone a little bit more when Jackson's out of the game. But they got to be a little careful with Rodnack. He hasn't hit that shot yet today, Mike, but he's capable of it.
Wingate, little stutter step, and that's going to be charged. Offensive foul, David Wingate, as Frederick did get the position. Here comes Perry McDonald into the game, the freshman, as Wingate goes to the bench with his first.
See here, Jackson trying to drive the seam of the zone. Good slide over by Frederick. Has the spot. Georgetown does really aggressively try to drive into the seams of that zone defense.
That's a really tough call for officials, that charge block.
Well, it depends on which angle you look at it. We look at it at an angle from a camera. It's up at midcourt, but they're looking at an angle direct on.
Broxton, quick shot. Rammed home by Frederick. Alvin is playing in his final game here. He's got 8 of Connecticut's 12.
And the last 4 to get them back to within 5. And now the crowd's back on their feet and stimulated instead of yelling at officials, and that's going to help a little bit.
Perry McDonald comes off the bench and knocks it home.
I have a feeling that people like Perry McDonald and Terry Warren are no longer freshmen, Mike. When you play this kind of a schedule that they play in this conference and they get down to where they play 24, 25 games in the season, it's not like coming out of high school anymore.
Warren, Ewing sends it back at him, but we've got a foul. Won't be on Patrick. It's a reach in. Looks like it's going to go on Broadnax. Now Billy Martin picks it up.
Martin inside. This will be UConn's first trip to the foul line. As you see it here, Martin bellying up inside, but Ewing certainly an authoritative send back.
That'll put Terry Warren, the freshman, at the free throw line. Here's a look at Billy Martin out of McKinley Tech High School down in the Washington, D.C. area.
Washington, D.C. has been a very fertile, Baltimore, really, obviously recruiting ground for John Thompson. At Georgetown, but the outstanding high school basketball played in that area has fueled Connecticut and Boston College and Syracuse and a number of other teams in the Big East as well.
Free throw line haunting the Huskies a bit here now. 19-12. 7-point Hoya lead. Broadnax wanted it. Now tries to penetrate, and a reaching foul is going on Terry Coffey. Jeff King checks into the ball game, number 40 for the Connecticut Huskies, big freshman. A little on the lean side, but he has played some good minutes, especially the second half of the year for Dom Perno's club. There's a look at Jeff.
Dom's not been afraid to get King into the ball game. 6'10", 190, freshman out of Lansing, Michigan, and he's got big, long arms and a pretty lanky kid. If he packs a little weight on that upper body, could be a pretty good middleman in the future. Horace Broadnax. Here's a good story of a young man that really had to overcome some adversity. He was in a very serious accident, hit by a train following his senior year in high school. One of the great players, great prospects in Florida that year. Had a couple of operations and just a numerous